Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Sorry, Mets fans. The Dodgers are going to the World Series to face the New York Yankees. What? Let's talk ball.
Ben Kasparius.
TK.
Practice game.
Reps. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Presented to you by SeatGeek. It's October 21st. The World Series is set. My name is Jake Storielli. I am a Yankees fan. Trevor Plouffe, an LA kid. Born and raised. BBD, our child. A Cincinnati Reds fan. Split us up perfectly. Welcome to Talkin Baseball. It's the big one, folks. Like, we need to, be good. Like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, hey, no happy hour blackouts these next 2 weeks. Like, we got to keep it tight, man. It's Yankees, Dodgers. I mean, people are going nuts already, Trev. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't know if this is the matchup that everybody wanted, but I really feel like this is going to be great for the game of baseball. And there's a lot of people, I don't want to watch the World Series. There's two teams, the two evil empires. Dude, baseball, this never happens in baseball.
Never.
It never happens in baseball. There's so much parity in the playoffs. It's ridiculous. And I enjoy that too. That's one of the beautiful things about our game. Like, we have a huge discrepancy in payroll, but like a lot of times it doesn't freaking matter. I mean, look what the Guardians did this year on their payroll. We're getting two heavyweights. Let's just all enjoy it. Let's not complain about this.
Nice.
We got to celebrate this. This is awesome. We got West Coast, East Coast. I mean, this is the more and more I thought about it after the game last night, the more and more excited that I got. And yeah, look, I root for the Twins. They're not in the World Series. That's okay. I can enjoy these two teams that went out and improved their teams, went through some trials and tribulations, but in the end, here they are. And it's a beautiful thing. I really think. And when's the last time this happened? Yankees, Dodgers?
81. So,
81?
It's always Yankees.
It's not.
81. Mary Tyler
the Yankees haven't been
off. You know?
It was off. 1977.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that. The Yankees hadn't been in the World Series since 2009. The Dodgers, before 2020, hadn't been in the World Series. Well, they lost in 18. And then before that, 88?
Yeah.
So, This is, enjoy it, people. Let's not be Debbie Downers here. Let's have some fun with this.
So the storylines are insane. Whether you want to do New York and LA, you want to do Yamamoto and the Yankees, you want to do Shohei and the Yankees, you want to do Japan and taking over baseball, you want to do Judge for Shohei, you want to do, all of it, man. Garrett Cole, Giancarlo Stanton are both Cali boys. Judge is a Cali boy, NorCal,
It's whatever. All That's California,
dude, the two managers here, Boone and Roberts, are both have a lot of good stuff on the resume. They've got their own October baseball moments themselves. Managerial-wise, they can both turn into legend. One of them will turn into a legend because of 7 baseball games. Trev, we are going to have a big, full World Series preview when we know a little more. We're going to do, this is for the people, we're going to do a Yankees-Dodgers playoff preview, World Series preview. Jeez. And we need to know a little more. We want to know how they're actually going to line up the pitchers to start or any other roster stuff that could come into play. Let some of the geeks get involved and leak us some stats. I feel like I saw one last night. I was like, damn, that's good. We have to say goodbye to the Mets. I can't leak all my stats yet. It's a long week.
I saw something last night. It was good.
It was good. That we have to finish off this series and give the Dodgers their flowers for taking down the Mets in 6 games. And then, like we just did at the start, and I'm sure we're going to do a little bit at the finish, is begin teeing this up a little bit more, because it's insane, man. Like our 2 weeks are going to be crazy. The baseball's 2 weeks are going to be bigger than they've like been. Like, you know, we're going to get all the this has gotten the most views since blank. We'll find out what World Series or whatever that was, but it is good for the game. Like, I'm sorry to whatever your small market team is that's like, whoa, so it's bad if my Pirates make it? No, it's great. It's awesome for your Pirates. Like, I'm stoked for your Pirates. And know it's going to be cool if this World Series is sick and it creates 2 million more baseball fans that they watch your World Series next year. So I don't know. I didn't even have that prepared. I don't know what that was. It felt like the ghost of Chris Rose coming through me.
I saw a lot of it online last
Chris
night.
Rose dead?
I saw multiple people on my X timeline.
Nice.
And man, sometimes that timeline's just very strange, as I'm sure you know. Maybe that's just mine. Multiple people saying, I'm not even going to watch this World Series. Okay, I guess. You do what you want, dude. You're not going to watch the World Series because what? The Dodgers and the Yankees are? That's ridiculous. Like, I can't hang with that.
No, it's funny.
I'm not about that life, coach. I mean, I'm a baseball guy. I'm going to watch no matter what. And I just... The big market team spoiling your appetite. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, I half understood it. You know, some people were doing New York versus New York, and they're like, I fucking hate that. Like, if you're just not about New York City, I was like, okay, I kind of get that. New York and LA, like, dude, we're uniting people. Like, know what? I'm a sports guy. Nice, Jake. Two of the most hostile fan bases in sports that hate each other, that are going to be united for 2 weeks, Boston Celtics fans and LA Laker fans. They don't get together over anything.
Mm-hmm. You think that Laker fans and Celtics fans are going to be rooting for the Dodgers?
Yes, Trevor.
No.
So you're so out of it. You have no idea. You have no idea.
I have watched.
You have no idea.
I have watched the Lakers play the Boston Celtics,
yes.
And Boston Celtics fans would beat LA t-shirts on. That is not. Let me tell you, the Celtics fans, they might be the ones that don't watch this World Series.
No,
dude.
Trev, I promise you. I've seen the tweets. I've seen all of it. Like, dude,
you got to show me the tweets, bro.
Red Sox fans loathe Yankee fans. It's a tale as old as time, right? Dodger fans, who a lot of them are Laker fans, are against the Yankees because it's a Dodgers World Series. This is like a weird little 2-week honeymoon where they get to go like bang at each other for 2 weeks, and they've never gotten to hook up before. Like,
I don't know what that means at all. What did you just say?
Wait,
hold on. Let's just dig into this 1 second.
Right.
I know you gotta read something, but okay. I'm trying to get on your level.
Why don't you digest it for a little bit?
I got something.
You have
Celtics fans are gonna be rooting for the Dodgers.
Yep.
Does that mean Padres fans are now Yankees?
Yes, fans? Trev. Yes. This is like a Sons of Anarchy fucking World Series, bro, where it's like, hey,
what do you know about that?
Dude, you want to know who's becoming, I was processing why I've become such a target in Dodgers land. It's because I was riding with the Snakes last year. I was like, why are they so hostile with me?
And the Padres this playoffs.
And I was doing live streams with the Mets, bro. So the Dodgers, like, I got guns pointed at me from like 5 different directions right now. And you know what? I kind of like it. Pull the trigger. And why don't you pull the trigger on some SeatGeek tickets this postseason? SeatGeek, code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. And if you've seen some of the ticket prices, JOHNBOY Playoffs 10, you're gonna want to pump that code. The final series is here. JOHNBOY Playoffs 10.
Code.
And hey, maybe you're one of those teams that you're like, screw this. I'm on to football or basketball. Well, SeatGeek's got that. And you can still save 10% with code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. Open up the SeatGeek app, add JOHNBOY Playoffs 10 to your account. Use it now, use it later. Save yourself 10%. Like, it's not There's no catch or anything like this. No catch or anything like this. Thanks to SeatGeek. Anything else before we do this final Dodgers Mets game and soliloquy?
I'm looking at ticket prices right now in
Phew!
LA. I mean, we're talking walk-in is over $1,000, like the get-in price.
Yep. It's just paper,
Okay.
Trev. Bring the family.
Just bring everyone. Yeah, I mean, better seats than that. $48,000
I don't get it.
for dugout club, second row. 48?
I don't get it.
And it's showing me a green on SeatGeek. I don't know. I don't know if that one should be a green SeatGeek.
I think when the tickets hit a certain price, it just turns green. It's just like that's. I don't know what to tell you. And that's Trev. It's everything we said. It's Yankees. We're gonna remember this one our whole lives. Let's talk Mets. Can't believe I'm saying that. October 21st. Hit the music. I'm gonna ad lib a little bit. Game 6, we're going back to Cali, as the Dodgers and a bullpen day started by Michael Kopech, White Sox great, against the New York Mets, while Sean Manaea try to be the man, try to be the boss. A little riffraff on a Monday morning. It starts out, speaking of riffraff, Pete Alonso gets into one. 40-mile-per-hour exit velo, his second softest hit ever. Gets the Mets on the board 1-0. Is that how this game is going to go? No, because Tommy Ed is the man. St. Louis Cardinals great with the 2 RBI double in the first. In the third, the 2-run home run, and we're starting to get jiggy with it in LA as Will Smith goes up top to make it 6-1 Dodgers. In the fourth, Marky Mark and his funky bunch. This kid, man. Vientos goes 2-run Yabo to cut the lead to 6-3. Ohtani. Broken bat. RBI single at 7-3. Alvarez and the Mets, they don't stop. Sac fly is underrated at 7-4. But in the 8th, it's over. Mookie Betts with the 2 RBI double, and the Mets finally get murdered by Trev's Hernandez brothers, Teoscar and Enrique. 10-4. Mets, they didn't even die in the 9th, man. They kept fighting and they scrapped one more out. But it's over. The Dodgers, Kopech, Kasparius, Banda, Brazier, Phillips, Hudson, and Trinan. The Dodgers are going dancing as they win 10-5 final.
I don't think people are in on that, like Menendez, Hernandez thing. I think they're out on it. In your head, sometimes it sounds good, you know?
I got a nice compliment the other day. We're friendly with Lawrence the Band, the world's like #1 independent band, whatever.
I know them.
And I got compliments from them. You know, they're creative types, and they were like, "Dude, you went from the other day, let's go Brandon, to Mookie Cookie." Got Gavin News. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of.
I told someone that you dropped a "Let's Go Brandon." They're like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I said we go both sides here.
Yeah, and then I shouted out your guy Gavin. So, Trev, let's get into the game. It's bullpen game for the Dodgers. Laid out some of the interesting dynamics of it because if there is a Game 7, you got to be careful. And it was getting kind of interesting in the first with Kopech's pitch count getting up there early. Mets scrap 1 across. They don't put up the crooked number, and then the Dodgers do. And Tommy Edman, man.
Dude.
I've got some Tommy Edman thoughts that I don't know if now's the time or now's not the time. But why don't you get into this game? I don't know if you have your highlighter and notes there, but please.
It was an interesting game for me. I think everyone knows my thought process was bullpen game 5. Off they save your starters for 6 and 7. They ended up going Flaherty on 5, bullpen game 6. So, you never know kind of how they're going to go. They end up going Kopech first inning, which is, I think, an interesting decision. having him open up there. But I think it is trying to find him in different lanes and facing different guys. He was erratic. He was throwing earmuffs, the absolute shit out of the ball.
Oh,
He was, but he was all over the place. The Pete hit was hilarious. I was still at the Rams game at this point. We were all watching it after the game on the TV in the suite. It's not a big deal. Fists one over. And I'm
you
like,
still
okay,
talking the game or? Oh,
this is an interesting one, to start out like that,
yeah.
get down 1-0 in a bullpen game. Because you start to get down 2-3-0. With this Dodgers offense, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it would feel, a little precarious there. And then he ends up wiggling out of it. I'm like, okay, one's nothing. And then you're right, like Tommy Edman batting cleanup. We were thinking like I didn't see the lineup beforehand, and I'm watching like who's up next, and I see Tommy Edman walk up. I'm like, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
For that guy to be hurt most of the season, hurt when he comes over to the Dodgers, and now finding himself just kind of in the middle, winning the NLCS MVP, like walking around with that trophy afterwards because of what he did, all series, just kind of being versatile, but then a huge game in the deciding game, hits that double down the line. It's 2-1 Dodgers. And I think that's when you start to realize, if you haven't already, that this Dodgers offense can be something really, really special.
Well, and that's, I think the big storyline coming out that we'll be talking about, over the next week or so is, that the Padres series, the Dodgers wrapped it up with the longest playoff scoreless streak. And then in this series, they put up an 8 spot in 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they're 4 winning games. That in playoff baseball, like an 8 spot, this is when you're using your 1s and 2 starters. This is when you're using your high end bullpen. That this lineup has now come to the forefront, and clearly the bullpen, the A bullpen, which it was cool actually hearing like Dave Roberts say, that game 2 sucked, man. That game 2 where we didn't throw our good guys, yeah, man, that hurts as a competitor. But you have to kind of believe in our process. Like, these are the tools we have in our toolkit right now. Blake Trinan. Holy earmuffs.
Gross.
Holy shit. Sorry we had to double earmuffs. It's World Series time.
SHIT.
But dude, look at the swings that these guys are taking against Blake Trinan, man. Like, it's unreal that and then look at. And this is the whole bullpen in the playoffs and saver. Like, look at the swings off Blake Trinan in the first inning and look at the second inning. Like, even that was significantly different. That, it's going to be one of the storylines for the Dodgers as their bullpen does enough to get through this game. But it's really their lineup, and it's Tommy Edman getting the MVP is awesome and incredible, and it was cool. He gets his, like, in the locker room little speech, and it's kind of funny. Yep. It's like, hey, I'm the new guy. Like, thanks for having me. I'm glad I can do my part. Let's do the next part. And it's like, yeah, that is interesting that, a lot of these guys have been there for a minute, or a lot of these guys have, hundreds of $1 million coming these ways, which, hey, maybe Tommy Edman does one day if he keeps playing like this. But dude, Will Smith, Mookie Betts, like, These Dodgers are the wagon we dreamed of.
I think what they've done and why they have, why they're in the World Series is their ability to put up crooked numbers, man. Like, they just drown you. If you're a team facing the Dodgers and they're going to put up a 3 spot. They're going to put up, they put up a 3 crooked numbers this game, 2, 4, and 3. I mean, those are just, you're out there on the field for a while usually. So like, it just kind of gets defeating. I think them, like, runners in scoring position, they were incredible this series. I don't have the final numbers, Beebs. If you could find that for us, that would be awesome. They got the job done with runners in scoring position. By and large, the Mets like basically didn't. They had some chances in this game. They had some chances to put those crooked numbers up, and they didn't. And that was the difference in the series, I believe. The Dodgers' ability to do that. And you could talk about Shohei being whatever the heck it is, 18 for his last 22. with runners in
Decent.
scoring position, but it's other guys as well. Like they are getting the job done with runners on. And like I said, those crooked numbers, those those hurt, man. Those are deep cuts. It's like when you're sword fighting, Jake. Oh, you just get a little glancing blow. Oh, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh.
The deeper the cut, the harder it is to keep going, dude, in these crooked numbers, man. Be like me versus you in a sword fight.
Yeah, I'll let that go for a second, and I'll deflect on Seattle Mariners fans. I was going to say 4 runs in an inning. That's a good. Aren't the Mariners like undefeated when they scored 4? Anyways,
Jesus,
no,
dude.
man. Hey,
why don't you just talk about the Angels now? Shohei's in the World Series the first year after he leaves. Why don't you just talk about that?
Mets fans, this team was so much fun going into the bonus day of the season. Till now. I mean, through the whole ride, not selling at the deadline, the grimmest Mets. And you're right, like this game, they were 1 or 2 swings away from being a step closer. And dude, how about something I highlighted in my notes? Jesse Winker, bases loaded. And it's like, okay. Like he's kind of the bad man for them. I'm interested to see where this goes. He kind of gets beat. He had one pitch from Phillips. Phillips gets wild. The second pitch of the at-bat, or maybe it was the third. Yeah, the third pitch that I was like, ooh, that had some plate. Jesse put a good swing on it, fouled it back. Winker kind of fights off a sweeper that I'm like, wait, is that going to be a no man's land? And Teoscar was in a very big LA outfield. Teoscar was positioned very well. So I don't know, Dodgers fans, if you want to shout out your defensive positioning analytics person, but yeah, that could be 2 runs, depending where you're set up on a given day. And there was a couple swings here from Mets fans that could have made this a little more interesting. The Dodgers it's relentless, man, and they've got a new arm coming out of the pen that's nasty. That it's that bullpen theory of what's that face?
Who is it? Because I have someone.
Oh, go please.
Brent Honeywell. Our guy.
I mean, he didn't pitch in this game, but
doesn't matter. I have some. Reason being, I have something to talk about later. But
let me highlight my guy from UConn, Ben Kasparius.
That's
pretty
who you
quickly.
Wanted. I knew that. Got the W last night.
Connecticut guy. I think he's pitched in 6 big league games. He gave them a big 1.1 in this one. Anthony Banda's stuff is just like. Again, if Anthony Banda was dropped in the mid-90s, you'd be like, oh, is he the best reliever in baseball? For the stuff he's throwing from his arm angle. And then, again, it's a lot of these guys that have pitched in big playoff games. Brazier, Phillips, Hudson, Trinan. And, yeah, I know Trinan, it shows he's got an earned run in this game, but it was very much, 10-4 at that point that he's throwing strikes just to wrap it up. They are the guys in the lineup. I mean, Andy Pajes has a 2-homer game this World Series. He doesn't get one today. Will Smith was batting 8 today, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is crunch time. They made some adjustments to the lineup, which I think was great. I mean, Dave Roberts coming into this series. I mean, like I said, a lot of Dodgers fans questioning a lot of his moves throughout his tenure there. Very successful because of the players that he's had. They've made the postseason every year since 2013. I don't know when he got hired. It was kind of around there. 2015, did he get hired?
I think 2015. I did. This isn't my
Rose
lane.
right there.
Yeah, I did like a Dodgers Wikipedia dive last night. I mean, a little
You're getting ready.
A little funny business on the couch. Dude, I was watching their celebration like my little kid mode was kicking in. I'm watching Mookie Betts talk on the field after the game, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to hate him for 2 weeks, huh? And,
good luck.
In 40 years, I'm going to be telling some kid on the street, like, oh, I remember Mookie Betts' 5-home run World Series, and be like, stop talking to me, old man. That, like, yes.
A day sooner than you think.
Like, dude, my brain's kind of never on, and it felt like I hit, like, the record button on the camera. Like, all right, you're going to have to remember this stuff, dude. Any other, like, do we have to... some more Mets goodbyes? Like, what else do we need to tee up?
Yeah, I mean, Yes, I think if for the Mets fans listening here, it's been a tough episode so far. But I think um, Howie Rose, who a Mets figure, Jolly put out a video with him talking about the Mets and kind of like the feelings. He's like, yes, everyone's going to be disappointed right now in the immediate, but he goes, think about like the ride that we had just been on. From being 11 games under 500 to the sixth game of the NLCS, all the comebacks, all the crazy gimmicks that most years you'd be like, that's so Mets and so like, that's what are we even doing here? But it all worked this year, man. Like the pop song, all these things. I don't even want to go over. I'm kind of sick of them, but like Grimace, the pumpkin, the pop song, all these things, man. It just meant that these guys were having fun together and there was a close bond in that room. I think a lot of them rallied around the fact that, before the year there was talks about, a lot of dead money on the books. It's gonna be a transitionary year. Transitionary. I don't know. This mean the same thing to me in my head. And then them coming out and just kind of like running it, man. And like the way they did it, I think also made for an incredible year. Coming back from a bad start, rallying in the ninth inning, like the games against the Brewers, like have already been forgotten about. But like, my gosh, like, do you remember Pete Alonso's homer? Like that was incredible. You found something in Mark Vientos. The guy's an absolute stud. Guess what? You got him under team control for 5 more years. So like there's a lot to be happy about with the Mets. Also, you have the richest owner in baseball. Like you can't ever forget about that with the Mets. Like I don't feel bad for Mets fans. I don't. I'm happy for Mets fans. I'm happy for them taking this step, finding some players, getting this experience, and now guess what? A lot of that dead money's coming off. And now your dog, he doesn't got just two guns, dude. This guy's got an army behind him. Like he is ready to freaking go. And I think the goodwill that was garnered during this run has only poked the bear, dude. Like this a little taste. Steve Cohen got a little taste of success in New York. Just a little taste. Something he's never had before, Jake. Think about that. Billionaire. Pretty much had everything in his life that he's ever wanted, right? Never had this, where the city has rallied around his team like this. I'm just saying, I can't wait to see what he does this offseason. Well, I think it's going to be something special, and I think Yankee fans might need to buckle up.
Yeah, that there will be a lot of Juan Soto in the thumbnail come November. Yeah, and coming off the season before where they were one of the favorites, which is a unique Mets position, or hopefully if you're a Mets fan, talk about that formerly feeling like a unique position, that they brought in a guy to run their team, David Stearns, who they were like, hey, this is the guy, right? Like, they had him tabbed like 2 years before his contract was up, and everyone in baseball knew. Again, that was kind of a weird thing. But now they go from the team that had the expectations that falls apart to the team that doesn't. Like Stearns has as high of an approval rating as you can have. Cohen has as high of an approval rating. Mendoza, that, it's going to be interesting because now when expectations are set, and you're going to make some moves this offseason, that can change how people feel about you as the next seasons go on. But, dude, there's some really cool stuff. Like Sean Manaea, I know when you play well for a team, like, yes, your quote should be like, yeah, I want to be here. And, you're also trying to raise that price tag. But there was some genuine stuff, like, of Sean Manaea being like, dude, I want to do this here. I want to do this here with this team in this franchise. Like that's a really cool feeling. And dude, there's just some stuff that when you do look back in 5 years, 10 years, like the Jose Iglesias stuff, it hasn't made sense during.
No.
Like looking back at the glove first shortstop who hit 371 or whatever and had a hit a number one song. It's just, it was beautifully Mets. And they're reeling, man. Like I had to take a step back, like reading Jolly stuff and be like, damn, like dude, they came into this matchup genuinely viewed as equals. Like the Dodgers were the favorites, but if the Mets starters got 1, 2, 3 good starts in, it was like, oh, wait, like this lineup can go. They have enough on the back end in theory. They ended up getting outgunned by the Dodgers, and so did the Padres.
It was just the fact that they didn't really come through with runners in scoring position. That was kind of it. Do you have those numbers, Beebs?
Couldn't find the quick split.
It's all good. I'm looking at Shamanai's baseball reference page. You want to take a guess on just career earnings so far?
Let's see. Shamanai was good. He hits ARB. Is this his first time as a free agent? I don't know. 40 mil. That's high.
He's sitting at 48 right now. He's got a $13.5 million player option. That thing's punted to the freaking moon. See you later. I'm going with he's going to be 33 next year. I mean, we're talking at least a 3-year deal. At least a 3-year deal. And a 3-year, let's say it is 3 years. I think he can get a 5-year deal. But if it is 3 years, we're talking this guy's going to demand at least $25 million a year next year. So that 48, he's going to be over 100. And big old Shamanai is going to, I don't know what he's going to have in the basement. I don't know.
Well, and that's exciting and daunting for Mets fans because Sevy's contract is going to be bigger than he just signed for. Quintana is going to be the new, you need $140 innings. Like
$17.5 million every year, and I'm going to keep pitching forever.
Just give me that 1-year deal, high money, and I'll be back doing my same thing. These Mets were fun. I mean, Ryan Stanek ended up being important in this series and throughout their playoff run. The trade deadline, dude. This was a big playoffs for the trade deadline. Lane Thomas for the guards, Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech started this game. There's a lot of really good stuff from the baseball world in general that tees this up. I want to do one more thing from this series, and it's the Tommy Edman thing I talked about before. And this is, you let me know if this is awful or if this is Jake brain, but I was zoning out in the shower just thinking about it. And I was like, Tommy Edman. And Tommy Edman a couple years ago, 2022, Tommy Edman was a 6.2 B WAR, which we use WAR. Like we don't live and get religious by WAR, but WAR generally works. Like generally, there's outliers in each direction. Like Tommy Edman has a career 18 WAR. That's higher than Kyle Schwarber. I think those two are a very interesting case study of how do you provide value to a team that maybe Schwarber doesn't get measured exactly properly, but maybe he does, because this is where teams like the teams we compliment, the Brewers and the Guardians, like they have these defensive-minded players that allow them to win games. I just think it's funny. Tommy Edman is a 6 WAR player in 2022. And he's a winning player, and you know that. If you watch baseball, you know that. The way he plays defense at shortstop, in center field, wherever you put Tommy Edman, the way he hits, switch hitting with speed, providing enough thump. I just thought it was funny that Tommy Edman was traded to this team knowing that he has a 6 WAR season in his bag. And we respect Tommy Edman for that, because back in the day, what would we have said? We would have said, Tommy Edman's a winning ball player. He plays defense. He's got speed. WAR kind of encompasses that we laugh looking at him as the 4 hitter because you expect someone built like Schwarber, ironically the leadoff hitter for the Phillies. But Tommy Edman is a great baseball player. And the fact that he's now getting his flowers, a guy that was sidelined for half the season in St. Louis, wondering what his year was going to look like. I'm glad he's getting that attention. And I'm glad that, it was another reminder that, WAR WAR as a stat does work. Like, we get pissy about it sometimes because sometimes you just see the offensive stats. But I think the good teams around baseball, they use WAR properly to get the right amount out of their player. That, I don't know, I guess I need to check in for the guys, the Andres Jimenez, who was getting highlighted on this level, that, you know, maybe your 711 OPS is more valuable than the 820 OPS guy. Because when you watch Tommy Edman in the series, you knew he was one of the best players on the field.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to be able to play all facets of the game. I mean, if you have just a bunch of sluggers in there, like, you're still going to lose games because your defense isn't great and you don't have positional versatility and, you know, whatever it is. Like, Tommy Edman's on the Dodgers makes a ton of sense. You have guys that are going to bang. You, Tommy, just be who you are. Yeah. You're going to have games like this where you do hit, because that's just part of baseball, and it's going to, you know, at those times, look out. But there's so much value in what he provides on defense and you know, the way he runs the bases. And when, like I said, when he gets hot and he's hitting in the 4-hole, hitting a double and a 2-run homer, like, that's when this Dodgers team is truly clicking, which they are right now. I was looking at the trade that brought him over. Here's a 3-team trade. Kind of forgot that this whole thing was a 3-team trade. He went over Oliver Gonzalez, and him came to the Dodgers. Dodgers sent future cash or future considerations to the White Sox. And then the Dodgers sent a bunch of minor leaguers in Miguel Vargas to the White Sox. White Sox sent Kopech to the Dodgers. White Sox sent Fetty and Pham to the Cardinals. It was a mess. I mean, the two guys that, I mean, Kopech's been great for the Dodgers, and obviously Tommy Edman just won the freaking NLCS MVP. It's funny to look back at the moves that have been impactful. Right? Like Tommy Pham and Eric Fetty, not impactful for the St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
Could have fooled me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you could almost, you know, you could say Tommy Edman a little more impactful than Tommy Pham. You could argue. Sorry, Cardinals, Mariners, shrapnel.
I threw an Angels one in there.
Angels, too. Shrapnel.
Yeah.
Trev,
Twins. What are we doing?
Let's tee this up even a little more, because we have the Mountain Dew of all World Series. Get off your ass. Grab a Mountain Dew. You see, they got some of their commercials are going through this World Series.
Yes, they're kind of everywhere right now.
They're kind of hot in the streets.
People say
Mountain Dew, get off your ass. This next week, we got some sneaky good weather in the city this week. It's getting up to 79 today. I want
to look at LA.
I don't know if that's LA guerrilla warfare, kind of sending that good weather our way. Grab a Mountain Dew, head to the park, go outside, walk around, play some blitzball with the fellas. We've got our Blitzball Battle 5 coming out November 4th. It's a big one. It's the best thing we do. Get this
World Series over with.
And Mountain Dew is a big part of that. Go get yourself a Dew. The mountain is calling. You should answer. Grab your friends. Grab an ice-cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and do the Dew. There's a link in the description. Trav, man. Like, it's actually happening. Like, you know, you daydream before the season. Every sport kind of dreams of LA and New York. I guess not football. They can do whatever they want. But, you know, you meant Lakers, Celtics. Well,
New York needs to step it up in that regard. LA's done their part, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Matthew. Like
2021. Let's go, baby.
Shohei and Judge. Like, okay, you could just start with their bodies, as we normally do on this program. Like, just massive.
That's interesting. Who wins in a wrestling match?
Freak show humans.
Judge.
I don't bet against Shohei in anything, but Judge literally, like, embodies New York. 6'8", like 300. Well, it's the California New York Yankees. You've always known that.
Cali Yanks.
The 2 home run champs, Shohei and Judge. So even if you're just doing, like, grunt work baseball, like, oh, the 2 guys who hit most home runs, never mind it being Judge, the new Yankee captain. Shohei, the guy who can pitch. Is he gonna? Like, let's get that storyline in the hopper, right?
A lot of people have been talking.
Let's get that storyline in the hopper. Know what we didn't mention in that final elimination game? The Dodgers, who put up 10 runs, they didn't have Freddie Freeman in their lineup because he's fighting a bad ankle. Mookie Betts, the former Red Sox. Know it was a weird conversation for me last night? Jess, very into Mookie Betts. Hello. Mostly because her friend has a dog named Mookie Pets. But she goes, what position does he play? I didn't have a good answer. I didn't have a good answer.
How long do you have?
She was like, so does that mean he's a utility guy? I was like, kind of. It means he's calling him a utility guy is rude to the inner circle Hall of Famer that is Mookie Betts. Dave Roberts in Red Sox Yankee lore has his place on that stanchion. Don't think that's the right word. Giancarlo Stanton, All-Star MVP in LA, an LA kid, just won CS MVP. A new Mr. October of sorts. Our generation's Reggie Jackson. Like, dude, it's up and down the field while being the two biggest cities in the world. And oh yeah, the new like hot chick in the baseball world, Japan. Like Yamamoto told the Yankees, no thank you. I'll just be with my guy and be in LA because I think the weather's amazing and they're gonna pay me as much. It's everything, dude. It's everything.
Japan, the new hot chicks just showed up out of nowhere. New in school. Who's that?
You know?
Okay. Not really new hot chick. She's kind of been around, but like got the braces off.
Last year?
Japan has the braces off.
Off.
You know?
Like, we've all had that girl. Or boy.
Or boy.
Person.
I don't know. I don't even know what you just said.
What?
You're teeing it up. There's a lot of storylines. Yes. What's your question?
What has you juiced up early on?
Well, I mean, just the fact that, you know, I believe these are the 2 1 seeds, right?
Yes.
2 1 seeds. So we are like, we're talking heavyweight. Like, I just think that's cool. I love the LA, New York aspect. West Coast, East Coast is just classic. 2, you know, of the older storied franchises. The Dodgers, the fact that they came from Brooklyn over here.
Sure.
Like sort of, I mean, I don't sort of, I would love Vin Scully to still be with us. Vin Scully versus John Sterling would be a matchup I'd be excited to talk about. It's just big. That's what it feels like to me. This feels like a big World Series. I was daydreaming when you were just throwing all that word salad out there that I love the sport of baseball because you mentioned Giancarlo winning the ALCS MVP and Tommy Edman for the Dodgers winning the NLCS MVP. Like, this is a sport that anyone can play. Like, your body type doesn't matter. Your height doesn't matter. Like, all these things don't matter. Can you play freaking ball, dude? And like, there's no other sport like that. Like, if you're a football player, you better be fast or you better be big. And there are certain positions that you just can't play if you're not big. In basketball, you can't be a little guy and play basketball. You just can't. And in baseball, man, it's such a unique skill sport that it gets a lot of times I get my feelings about that. Like, it really is truly like a sport that anyone can play. And it's awesome, man. And we're represented by so many different countries. And who's that freaking track star that's not the World Series? No, this is the World Series, bro. This is the best players in the world. And it's becoming more and more. Now that Japan's got her braces off, it's becoming more and more of a world game. And I think it's going to continue to be that. And it just excites me. I don't know. Like, this is, like I said, I think the main takeaway for me is this feels big. This feels like it's going to transcend baseball fans. I think it's going to bring in the casual sports fan. I think it's going to get massive ratings. And I think if you're listening to this show and you're like one of those people like, I don't really care because the Dodgers, you know, whatever, my team can't keep up with them. And maybe you hate both these teams, but like, enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy, because we do not get this a lot. We don't. So like enjoy it. I'm just being in here, being in LA. The energy is already, it's nuts, man. It really is nuts. Okay. Let me just go on a little tangent.
Sure, please.
Obviously going to I got Jolly Olive is waiting. I'm gonna get sad Jolly Olive on baseball today.
No.
Go to the Rams games, and look, we had no football team for 25 years in LA, which is crazy. Now we have 2. But during those 25 years, a lot of people like picked a new team. Mostly it's the Raiders. A lot of people root for the 49ers. So when you go into the Rams stadium now, a lot of times it doesn't really feel like a home game because they're still trying to win back Los Angeles. Like in 20 years, all these kids that saw them win the Super Bowl in 2021 and are watching Coop and Matthew right now, like they're going to be Rams fans. But like for an entire generation, 2 generations, like there just wasn't a football team here. So it doesn't feel like LA's team just yet. But the Dodgers and the Lakers and like USC football, like those are LA teams, man, like through and through. And I'm excited. I'm just like excited for the city. It really feels like something. It does.
Yeah, it's I can speak slightly better on the New York side. I do want to compliment, or kind of what you were just saying. Like it's been cool to see. And this, I can't believe the shrapnel I sent out before. This is the opposite. Like the Tampa Bay Rays are getting fans because they've been around for a little over 2 decades now. Like Brett Phillips grew up a Rays fan because that was the team that was like in his backyard. That they were hitting this fight or flight point that like it's cool that the Rays are becoming what they are. Obviously there's the stadium and all of that. But you're right. And this is, if this is your last poo-poo of like, screw the big market teams, Yankees have not been to the World Series since 2009. So like whatever gripe you have against us for our dominance.
Why do people call them like this evil empire? Like they haven't been that.
We sure haven't, man. The Dodgers and Yankees haven't linked up in a World Series since 81. So there's all these stats about like, this is the most played Hadn't seen it in my life. I'm 35 now. Jeez.
Dodgers have one World Series in however many years, and everyone like makes fun of them for it.
It's
it's hard in this sport, dude. The
like
parity in the playoffs is unrivaled.
I'm gonna hit you with some Jeter on the way out, obviously. Or no, let me give you a little more New York, which is Jeter too. But like the Knicks, this is their first season with actual expectations in a long time. The Yankees have been like this city, like they have a winning record every year. Like it's kind of nice to know what you're going to get. So everything I said about going to the World Series, but the streets are going to be alive. People are loud. Jess walked Noodle in a Yankee jersey yesterday. They went to like a dog Halloween parade thing or something. They had a good time. They had fun.
Okay.
This is, dude, just like the players that are going to be remembered. You mentioned how, like, Tommy Edman and Giancarlo won MVP. Like, you can look at pretty much every player on the Dodgers. It obviously starts with the big guys, but Max Muncy doesn't get out anymore. Like, what's that do for Max Muncy's legacy if he has another series like that? Like, that it becomes a name that's remembered forever. Teoscar Hernandez, like, hey, I watched him on the Blue Jays terrorize these Yanks a lot. He signed a 1-year deal. You think that guy can't run into 4 in a series? You can do this with almost every player on the Dodgers. And, hey, our guy Jack Flaherty, like, he's going to get 2 big postseason starts. His story from the Cardinals till now. Yamamoto, who was, these were kind of the final 2 teams, the final 3 if you include the Mets. Sorry, Mets. And that's before going over to the, like, what's Juan Soto going to cement himself as a 25-year-old? He's gonna turn 26 during this World Series. Dude, even like a guy like Gleyber Torres, who has felt not the lowest of lows in baseball, but he's had some low moments. He's going into a free agent year that he was horrible for the first half of the season. Like, what can that do for his life if he puts together a World Series? It's the beauty of it.
I am gonna just sprinkle a little cash on a Friday night homer by Juan Soto. His birthday, first game of the World Series. I mean, I'm not giving gambling advice, but holy shnikes, didn't know that.
Worth a shot.
Love it. I totally missed on this. Go check out. There's an interview with Max Muncy and Brent Honeywell after the Dodgers won. It's phenomenal. I'll give you a little cliff notes on it. Honeywell was not on the roster for the NLDS.
Right.
And he threw Mookie Betts live BP and a couple other Dodgers live BP on the field and just said, I'm going to throw the ball right down the middle, try to hit it as far as you can. And Max Muncy's like, this guy got everybody right. He was selfless, went out there and just like pitched to him and got everybody right. It's really cool. They talked about what they did during their break between the end of the season and the DS and how they kind of changed that from years past. Go listen to this interview. You can find it. It's on Twitter. It's Muncy and Honeywell together. It was awesome. I should have probably got more in depth on it during this episode, but it's too late now to apologize.
It's too late. Hey, we're gonna come out with the full World Series preview, I think Wednesday. We'll see. We want to get more info, get the starters, get some of the interviews out there, any other tidbits, Trevor's tidbits that could help us digest what will be one of the bigger World Series of our lifetime. And I know it's been said a lot, but dude, like, this could be the only Dodgers Yankees World Series we ever see. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how this works. So I don't know. That's my final pitch. If you're a small market hater person, I don't know. This could be really cool. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you back Wednesday. Go watch some baseball today this week. Go check out Jim's breakdowns. Go check out everything we're doing.
Chick sucks.
Big one.
What else? New York, LA.
Hot Japan.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did Japan just get a brace itself?
Whoa. Is that an American Eagle shirt?
What?